Well, Dean Acheson was a brilliant man. His interests really were concentrated in the North Atlantic in terms of his own strong sense of personal commitment. After all, he had played a large role in the building of the Marshall Plan and the construction of NATO, and from a geopolitical point of view, one can understand why this North Atlantic relationship was looked upon as fundamental. He had less interest in the little yellow, brown, black people in various parts of the earth.
Our distinguished guest for this evening is Dean Rusk, President of the Rockefeller Foundation and former Assistant Secretary of State.
Dean Acheson's press club speech was very important, not so much for what it exactly said, but how it was interpreted. Well, he described our defense perimeter in the Pacific, and he left Korea out of that perimeter. His speech was widely interpreted as writing off Korea. Well, we looked at the map and thought that it would be a good idea if Seoul, the capital of Korea, were in our zone of occupation. But we knew that the Army would not want us to go very far beyond that, and so we looked north of Korea, and there was no clearly distinguishing geographic feature, but there was the 38th parallel. And so we came back and suggested that. What none of us there at that meeting from the State Department or the Army knew was that earlier in the century there had been discussions between the Russians and the Japanese about a division of the sphere of influence in Korea along the 38th parallel. Had we known that, we'd have selected any other dividing line. Actually, they accepted the 38th parallel with alacrity. We were disarmed. NSC 68 represented a major decision by the United States to begin to build up its armed forces again. And I think the Korean attack and the Korean War simply confirmed what was already being discussed as a necessity if we were to maintain some peace in the world.